for the Board of Education in the Fairfax County here in the D.C. area. And her topic will be education.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى أهله وصحبه أجمعين. I need to talk louder? Okay. I'm a bit short. I'm very happy that I was asked to speak today about education because I believe that education is one of the most important areas that Muslims have to address. And while our objective, our final objective, is not just to become part of the system that we experience now and that we see, our objective, our final objective, is to create our own Islamic systems, and not only create Islamic systems for Muslims, but to look at all the other people who are sharing this country with us as potential Muslims. And if we look at them as potential Muslims and feel that we have the obligation, which Allah has told us, to try to bring them into the same style of thinking, into the same way of behaving, into the same objectives that we have, then we have to have some way that we can communicate with them and some way we can work with them. And in that long-range process of making America Muslim, all of America Muslim, then we have to have some actual short-range goals. We have to have some way of dealing with them and know how we're going to deal with them and in which ways, and be very calculated about it, or else we will not accomplish our goals. Is education political? Yes, it is. Education is extremely political because it shapes our minds, it shapes our idea of who we are and what we are, it shapes our ideas of what we can be. Yesterday when I was listening to one of the other speakers, I became amused because it reminded me of a situation with my own little daughter. It wasn't a speaker, actually. It was a person who stood up from the audience.
We are gathered in the Oval Office for the National Religious Freedom Day, something very important and very special, and special to me and the people that are gathered around me. This afternoon, we're proudly announcing historic steps to protect the First Amendment right to pray in public schools. So you have the right to pray, and that's a very important and powerful right. There's nothing more important than that, I would say. We're joined by the Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, Deputy Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen, and students and advocates from across America. And advocates they were. They've been calling and writing by the thousands, and you're representing that large group of people. In a sacred principle of our republic, that government must never stand between the people and God. Yet in public schools around the country, authorities are stopping students and teachers from praying, sharing their faith, or following their religious beliefs. It is totally unacceptable. You see it on the football field. You see it so many times where they're stopped from praying, and we are doing something to stop that. Tragically, there is a growing totalitarian impulse on the far left that seeks to punish, restrict, and even prohibit religious expression. Something that, if you go back 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, it was unthought of that a thing like that could even happen, that anybody would even think of something like that happening. That is why today my administration is issuing strong new guidance to protect religious liberty in our public schools. The right of students and teachers to freely exercise their faith will always be protected, including the right to pray. So we call this the right to pray. Is that a good idea? Right? You like that, right? 9 federal agencies are also proposing new rules to roll back discriminatory regulations. So we have rules to roll back discriminatory regulations on religious service organizations. And earlier this afternoon, my White House released a new memo to make sure federal funding is never used to violate the First Amendment, which is a very big deal. With us today is Hannah Allen, a high school freshman from Texas. Hannah, would you tell us what happened at your school with respect to you and prayer? Hannah? Thank you. Right.
So, me and a group of students from my school wanted to pray for a former classmate's brother who had got hurt in an accident. After the prayer, our principal told us, "Don't do that again." So the next day, parents had called and complained. He told us that we could pray, but he said we had to hide in the gym or behind a curtain or somewhere away from everyone else. And I know that if this can happen in a small town in Texas, it can happen anywhere across America. And that's not right. No one should feel ashamed of their faith, especially in a school or anywhere.
Well,
And-
what ultimately happened? How was that resolved?
So we got with First Liberty. They've been amazing. They supported us the whole way. And they sent the school a letter, and the school complied with the letter and changed the.
And now you're able to do that?
We are.
Good. Well, now it's going to be much easier yet, okay? All right? Thank you, darling. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. We're also joined by Marilyn Rames, a former teacher and the founder of Teachers Who Pray. Marilyn, if you could, let us know. Well, good. Thank you very much. Maybe you give us a little bit about what happened.
Yeah, so thank you. I'm Marilyn Rames. I'm the founder and president of Teachers Who Pray. And I founded Teachers Who Pray because I, as a teacher, believe in the beauty of every child and the unlimited potential that resides within. However, the students that I was getting weren't set up for success because they were so significantly behind grade level. And I taught in Chicago Public Schools for 14 years, and during that time we were losing students every year to gun violence. At one year it was like 32 students getting killed, and I was overwhelmed with the heaviness of the work. So I thought about quitting, and I decided not to. I was going to fight, and I was going to pray and uplift my spirit so that I can do the job that I knew God had called me to do. So I began praying with other teachers in the building who were like-minded, and we really supported each other, built community, built more hope, built more joy in the work, despite it being so difficult. And we grew. Like right now there's over 150 chapters of Teachers Who Pray because teachers need that spiritual support and guidance. And today I believe it's super important because there is a myth out there that what Teachers Who Pray does and other organizations do for teachers, spiritual wealth, is not legal, and it absolutely is. And I'm here to tell teachers that we need to pray. If you're of faith, we need to pray. We need to buckle up and just do what we have to do for our kids because they need us and they're depending on us. And if we're not strong, we can't make them strong. So that's why I'm here.
That was really beautifully said. Thank you very much. That's beautiful. Thanks, Marilyn. So while I'm president, which will be hopefully for 5 years, and I don't know, maybe we'll work on, the media will work on a major extension of that. But we will not let anyone push God from the public square. We will uphold religious liberty for all. And I want to thank you all, and God bless you all for being here. It's a great time in our country. We're doing things that nobody thought were possible. I'd like to ask, if I might, Secretary DeVos and Deputy Attorney General Rosen to say a few words about our actions, if you don't mind. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Go ahead, Betsy, please.
Thank you for your leadership, your courage, and your friendship to people of faith, especially our nation's children. Too many misinterpret a separation of church and state as an invitation for government to separate people from their faith. In reality, our Constitution doesn't exist to protect us from religion. It exists to protect religion from government. The First Amendment affirms our free exercise of religion, and we don't forfeit that first freedom to anyone or in any place, especially in public schools. After all, it's been noted that as long as there are final exams in schools, there will always be prayer in schools. But thanks to your leadership, Mr. President, today we remind schools of the law with respect to religious expression, something that hasn't been done in more than 15 years. And where there are violations, we now make clear that the law requires states to establish a clear process for students like Hannah and Michael, William, parents, and teachers like Marilyn to report them. It also notes that the law directs states to tell us about any and all complaints as well. This administration and you is and always will be committed to ensuring all believers have the freedom to learn, to pursue our passions, to use our talents, and to live in accordance with the unique purpose that God has called us each to do. If we embrace that freedom, our faith will be a light no darkness can overcome. Thank you again, Mr. President.
Thank you very
for your
much.
leadership.
Beautiful. Thank you, Betsy, very much. Jeff?
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for your leadership on this really critical issue. There are the fundamental freedom that you've been supporting of Americans to practice their faith is so important, is so appreciated by millions and millions of Americans. And at the Department of Justice, we remain firmly committed to enforcing Americans' constitutional rights, including this one. And so that's part of why I'm very honored and privileged to be a part of today's announcement on the new guidance document about prayer in school. I think sometimes people don't appreciate that there are many, many Americans who feel called to pray during the day, and our First Amendment to our Constitution protects that. And sometimes I think there's a confusion about this issue as to whether it's trying to force people to pray who don't want to. But that's not what this is about. This is about protecting the rights of those who do to have the liberty to do that on school grounds. And that is protected by the First Amendment. So today's guidance reaffirms and clarifies and spells out for Americans what that freedom is with regards to prayer and religious expression. And I really think that the courage of people of faith, such as the folks we have here today, is really a reminder of how important our constitutional liberties are and the great action that your administration is taking to ensure that they remain legally protected. And so again, Mr. President, I thank you and Secretary DeVos and the whole administration for the efforts to make this happen.
Very good job. Thank you very much, Jeff. Paula, would you like to say something? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. It's such an honor to stand here with you, President Trump, and with this amazing team and policy and everyone who has made this. This is a huge thing. As we said, it is a constitutional right, a First Amendment right. And President, you continue to be such a fighter for people's freedoms, for their liberties. As you often say, we worship God, not government. Perceived and perception has often been people have been bullied, harassed, stopped from practicing their faith. You have so many people that have walked out here very brave with horrific stories of being persecuted because they simply wanted to pray. And prayer, as we know, makes a huge difference. So thank you for standing for all religious liberties.
That's good. Thank you very much. Would anybody like to say anything? Go ahead.
Can I tell my story?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
So it all started when I walked in the classroom. It was Ash Wednesday, and I had my ashes on my forehead. And all the kids in the classroom was like, "Is that dirt on your forehead?" Because they don't know, because I'm Catholic and they were all Mormon. So, because I was like, I was like the only Catholic in that school. So then the teacher came up and like, "It's unacceptable. Wipe it off." And I told her 4 times, and she didn't listen, and she made me wipe it off in front of all the kids.
Wow.
That's my story. So thank you, Mr.
Well, it's not going to be happening anymore, okay?
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right.
I just don't want anyone to feel like that.
That's a beautiful story, well told, because it sets such a good plate out there for people. I mean, you hear a story like that. That's a shocking, Jeff, that's a shocking story, right? You were the only Catholic in the school?
Well, I think there's one more.
But they didn't have any idea. And the teacher did not treat you properly. Okay. We're changing that, okay? Nice job. Come here. Anybody over here? Anybody? Sure.
Mr. President, thank you so much for the opportunity to be in the Oval Office. So much history has taken place here. It's surreal. Thank you, sir. My name is Chase Windebank. I started a small group of students praying in high school during a free period. And by my senior year, it had grown to a community of 90 students, and it was so encouraging. But later in the senior year, the administration wound up banning us from praying during school hours, not even during lunch. And so I remember thinking I didn't want to file a lawsuit at all, but after many meetings unsuccessful with the administration, I wound up realizing it was the only way to secure future students' rights to pray. And so thank you, sir, that now I get to have the opportunity to tell students to live out their faith in big and small ways in the future. And you guys are making sure that the founding fathers are living on in our nation. So thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
very nice. Yes.
I pray 5 times a day. Oh, my name is Malaki Jazz. I pray 5 times a day, and I had to pray at lunch. And I would bring the hijab to cover my hair, and kids would make fun of me, harass me, and attack me. And I would tell the principal, and the principal actually blamed everything on me at the end. Me and my mom complained so many times, and I didn't have a good education at the end. So, yeah, everything was blamed on me.
And we're going to take care of it, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for being here. Did I hear somebody else? Yes, please, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ariana Hoplin. I'm a high school student in South Florida. And in my middle school, I was the only Jewish person. And I was very open with my religion. I would announce when I had Shabbat plans, which is a day of prayer and rest. And when we started our Holocaust unit, it ended with everybody being nice to me because I spoke out about it. And I wanted to inform people, and I wanted to help people learn. And the students started to write swastikas on my belongings, on my arms. I was pushed and shoved in the hallway. They even went so far as to take my face and put it on Anne Frank's body. And it was sent around to 3 different schools. And I was terrified to say I was Jewish. And that should never be in anyone's mind. Anyone in school should be able to say, I am whatever religion I am, and I practice this, and I believe this. And it's been 3 or 4 years since middle school. I'm a junior in high school, and I've continuously fought for anyone to have the right to exercise their constitutional rights in school. And I just want to thank you so much for everything you've done, and for Israel, and for everything that you've truly done for all of us.
Well, thank you very much. So beautiful. Thank you. Believe me, after I saw that, I said, it's him. He shouldn't be doing that. Very unethical.
Well, let me ask you, because one of the potential attack lines has to do with an answer you gave to Frank Luntz months ago when you said that you've never asked God for forgiveness. Do you regret making that remark?
No, I have great relationship with God. I have great relationship with the evangelicals. In fact, nationwide, I'm up by a lot. I'm leading everybody. But I like to be good. I don't like to have to ask for forgiveness, and I am good. I don't do a lot of things that are bad. I try and do nothing that's bad. I live a very different life than probably a lot of people would think. And I have a very great relationship with God, and I have a very great relationship with evangelicals, and I think that's why I'm doing so well with Iowa. I don't feel good about turning down money, because my whole life I've been greedy, greedy, greedy. I've grabbed all the money I could get. I'm so greedy. But now I want to be greedy for the United States. I want to grab all that money. We believe that only American citizens should vote in American elections. Which is why the time has come for voter ID, like everything else. Voter ID. You know, if you go out and you want to buy groceries, you need a picture on a card. You need ID. You go out and you want to buy anything, you need ID and you need your picture. In this country, the only time you don't need it, in many cases, is when you want to vote for a president, when you want to vote for a senator, when you want to vote for a governor or a congressman. It's crazy.
Do you think Islam is at war with the West?
I think Islam hates us. There's something there that there's a tremendous hatred there. There's a tremendous hatred. We have to get to the bottom of it. There is an unbelievable hatred of us.
In Islam itself?
You're going to have to figure that out. World's #1 terrorist leader to justice. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead. He was the founder and leader of ISIS, the most ruthless and violent terror organization anywhere in the world. The United States has been searching for Baghdadi for many years. Capturing or killing Baghdadi has been the top national security priority of my administration. U.S. Special Operations Forces executed a dangerous and daring nighttime raid in northwestern Syria and accomplished their mission in grand style.
I will end the Muslim ban on day one. Day one. From the Prophet Muhammad instructs, whomever among you sees a wrong, let him change it with his hand. If he is not able, then with his tongue. If he is not able, then with his heart.
Make no mistake, people. 2020 is our year. Let's dive into it with 2020 vision. We can see clearly that America is fighting for its very soul.
We all come from the same root here in terms of our fundamental basic beliefs. And I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity, for being engaged, for committing to action this November. It matters. Your voice is your vote. Your vote is your voice. Muslim Americans' voices matter. I'll be a president who seeks out and listens to and incorporates the ideas and concerns of Muslim Americans on everyday issues that matter most to our communities. That will include having Muslim American voices as part of my administration.
But getting out the vote, getting our families out to vote, getting our elderly out to vote, getting our masjids out to vote, getting our neighborhoods out to vote. So let's do our part and join the largest Muslim voter mobilization in America, the Million Muslim Votes campaign. Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's make our voices heard. Because we got the means, we got the numbers, and we got the power. From the streets to City Hall.
And said, we're not American, we're Muslim.